So the last graph that you're asked to create or construct is a relative ogive. Now, relative ogive does not use relative frequency on its vertical axis. It actually uses a relative cumulative frequency. This can be acquired one of two ways. You can take the actual cumulative frequency and divide it by the total frequency of 20, and that will give you what it is. Or, if you prefer, if you already have the relative frequency calculated, then you can just do a running total. So the relative cumulative frequency would be the same as the first relative frequency, 0.05 for the first class. The second class will be the sum of the first two classes, 0.15. Okay? You can probably guess by now what the last relative cumulative frequency will be if we keep adding these up. So the third one will be the sum of the first three. So that's going to be 15 plus 15, making it 0.30. 0.30 plus 0.25 is 0.55. 0.55 plus 0.20 is 0.75. Plus 0.15 is 0.90. And plus 0.10 is 1.0. Okay? Since the cumulative frequency is the sample size of 20, that relative cumulative frequency would be 20 divided by 20, making it 1. So that makes sense. Now, we do need an axis and a horizontal axis for our relative ogive. And remember, ogive is another name for a cumulative frequency graph. That could be a potential test question. What's another name for a cumulative graph? And you'd tell me ogive. Or I'd say, tell me another name for an ogive. And you'd tell me cumulative frequency graph. So, since our vertical axis is going to be relative cumulative frequency, we need to have a scale that will accommodate 0 to 1. So if you want to go by tenths, you can go by tenths. So this would be 0.10, 0.20, 0.40, 0.50, 0.60, 0.70, 0.80, and 0.90, and finally 1 point. That's your scale for the relative cumulative frequency. Now for an ogive, the x-axis is always class boundaries. We need to make sure that we put all the class boundaries out there, starting with the lower class boundary of the first class. And so if I make these evenly spaced, 5.5, that would be 10.5, 15.5, 20.5, 25.5, 30.5, 35.5, and 40.5. Now the question was asked, do we need